symbolic places and spaces can, of course, be found, created, cultivated everywhere, and they are. We have them in our personal lives, we have them in our families. Universities have symbolic places and spaces, cities, countries, all over. What I think makes this particular territory unique, or at least particularly special, that is Palestine, Israel, whatever we want to call this tiny piece of land in the Eastern Mediterranean, is the overlap between cultures and the endurance of many of these sites. Now, of course, some of the sites that we'll be considering in the class, like a site like Tel Hai, are in fact quite young, and that's an important fact to bring out, that many of these sites are young, are new, and indeed even many sites that are considered to be religious sites, when one actually looks at the historical record, one discovers that in fact they too have been recently created or discovered, however we want to understand that. But some of them really do have a tremendous longevity that has, again, that spans religious boundaries and involves Jews, Muslims, Christians all together. An excellent example of this is the Cave of the Patriarchs in Hebron, which according to the book of Genesis is the site of a cave purchased by Abraham to bury his wife Sarah after her death, and came to be the place where all of the patriarchs, all of the biblical patriarchs and matriarchs, except for Rachel, were buried, according to Jewish tradition, which is preserved also in Christian and especially Muslim tradition. King Herod, who ruled over Judea in ancient times, during and prior to the period to the birth of Jesus, actually built a massive structure there to really enshrine this site as an important site. And indeed, much of his construction exists down to this day. It's really the most complete structure constructed by Herod, who was really a great builder and left very much a mark all across his territory. This is the structure that's best preserved of all of them, better than, say, what the work that he did or had done on his behalf on the Temple Mount. And so it's amazing from that perspective, but in terms of what it tells us about a sacred place or a special site, it really emphasizes the longevity, the endurance of this place. In Byzantine times, a church was constructed at the site. Thereafter, a mosque was constructed at the site, which still survives. So what we have there is a quasi-Jewish shrine, which has a mosque built on top of it. It's really, it becomes sort of one structure unto itself. And of course, the question then arises: well, how can the Muslim traditions and Jewish traditions be accommodated at this one site? And the question of Hebron has proven to be an extremely difficult one.